In this video, you will learn how to add Instagram login functionality to your login page. Hey, what's up guys? Sinead here from codingpassiveincome.com, the place where I help others to become a web developer much easier and faster than they will do it on their own. So if that is something that interests you, consider subscribing. So before we actually start writing any code, I want to explain you the basics that you need to understand for this tutorial. So we are going to create one login page. So this is just any normal login page. Here will be email, password, login button. And now here we are going to add another login button, which is login with Instagram. And then when a visitor press this button, we will redirect him to the Instagram website. So this is Instagram. If that person accept permissions that we are asking for, or even if he not, Instagram will redirect him to our callback page. So this will be our callback. And now on this callback page we are going to check what is the redirect URL from the Instagram. If that URL contains an error, that means that person didn't accept permissions on this Instagram page, and then we will just redirect him back to the login page again. So this is in case of error. And if this error doesn't exist, then we are going just to accept the information from the Instagram. Then we are going to query Instagram server to get an access token and user details, so we can say it like this. And then once Instagram returns those informations, we will in the callback page create a session and redirect person to our index page. So maybe now this seems to be a little bit complicated, but actually the code is very simple. So let me show you how to write it. So now I'm here at my PHP store. I have created a new project, Instagram login, and I have created 4 new files: index, Instagram API, login, and settings.php. So now first let's make some basic design for our login page. So I will go to the getbootstrap.com. I will hit download, and then I am going to include just a CDN library. Okay, and I will just type new document. I will say Instagram login, and then in the head I will paste the link to the Bootstrap library. So in the body we are going to have one container, and then we will have one row, and in this row I will just justify it into the center, and I will have one column. So let's say MD6, and I will set offset to the 3, so that basically those 6, the column of 6 will be in the center of the screen. Okay, so now here maybe let me just quickly copy this to the here. So I will just at the top include my logo PNG, and then I'll make 2 new lines, and then let's say we'll have just one form. But for now I'm not going to include any attribute like method or action, because I don't have any. I'm not going to create this login form. So I'll now just create few inputs here. So let's say first one will be type email, placeholder email, and then name email. Okay, and then I will just duplicate I will say this is a password, and this is password too. Maybe we should just add class like for control. So here I will say that we are going to have one submit button. So let's say this will be login. Okay, and now I will duplicate this. Say this is now button, and then this will be login with Instagram. Of course, you can use some image that will represent Instagram, but for the simplicity of this tutorial, this will be just enough. Okay, and pretty much that's it for this simple design. Let's make a test. So I will just upload everything. I have also images. Okay. And let's now take a look. And maybe we should just move this image a little bit down. So I'll just say style, let's say margin top 100 pixels, and then let's say okay. And here we go. So this is very simple. And now next thing that we need to do is basically to create an Instagram application that we are going to use. So I will go to the instagram.com/developer, and then after that I will go to the manage clients, and then I will go to the register a new client. Okay, so now we need to specify some application name. So I'll just say login, some description. Okay, so this is our so I think that the name of our callback is, I don't even have it, so let's create one callback. Okay, we need to have it before we submit and try to create this application. That is what is required by Instagram. And then let's have use this thing. So okay, I'll hit register, and here we go. My application has been created, and now I will need to go to the manage in order to get a client ID, secret status, etc. So here are all the information that I will need for the purpose of this tutorial. But now, before I show you how to actually write the code, I want to show you how you can find what you need to do in order to get a user data, just in case that sometimes Instagram changes. So usually I will just go to the developer, and then I'll go to the authentication, and here you'll basically have all the details and explanation how to get an access token and how to really authenticate the user. So for example, for the step 1, they say that we need to direct user to authorization URL, which is this one, and as you can see here, we will need to pass client ID and then redirect URI, and we are going to do exactly that. So let's say first in the settings file, I will just create here one variable. So I'll say settings equal, and then I will say it will be an array, and this array I will say we will have client ID. Okay, then we will have client secret, and then maybe redirect URI. Okay, so I will just copy those from here. So this is ID, okay, secret, okay, and then we will need to have redirect. So I will just change this to the callback. Okay, and later I will just use this information. So for this tutorial I have decided to really create a new class and actually show you how to use object-oriented approach to do this small project. And this is something that I'm doing for the first time, because not I am doing it for the first time, but I'm showing in my tutorials how to use object-oriented approach, because now I have a tutorial on my channel where I am explaining the basics of OOP. So if you want to learn it, just go there and use it. So first I will say class, and then I will say Instagram API, and then in this I will declare some variables. So let's say I will say var, and then I will say client ID, then client maybe secret, and then redirect URI, and that's it. And then I will define a construct. Let's say that we will pass settings, which is an array by default. Okay, and here I will say that client ID equal settings client ID, and then client secret, okay, and then redirect URI. Okay, cool. So now here at the top I will just include settings, and then we'll create a new variable that I'm going to use all the time. Okay, so small mistake, and that's it. So let's say now that in this class I'm going to have one method. So I'll say public function, and maybe let's say get login URL, and then this function will return a URL that is specified by Instagram. So I'll just copy this and we'll say return this URL. Okay, so let me maybe just do like this so that you guys can see it. So here for the client ID I will specify the one that we have. So I will say this client ID, and then for the redirect URI I will specify the one that we have. Okay, and that's it. So now on our login page at the top I will include our Instagram API file. So I'll say in Instagram API.php, and now we will need to redirect the person to this URL. So maybe I will define here onClick method, and then I will say window.location equal, maybe I should say JavaScript. Okay, and then inside here we will just echo, sorry guys, maybe you can see. Okay, and here I will just say echo Instagram get login URL, and this should basically work. So let's see. Okay, so I'll hit refresh, Now if I hit login with Instagram, I am redirected to the Instagram, and I will need to accept the information and authorize this application to use actually my profile. And here is what I am asking in my application. And if you want to add some other permissions, you can learn more about scope. And here is the explanation, but as you can see, for most it says applications no longer accepted. So probably if you don't have already those permissions, you are not able to ask for them. So basically we'll just need to ask for basic, which is user profile, info and media. Anyway, so now let's say I'll just go here back. This is working so far, but now we will need to write something for our callback page and actually get all the data and verify if he accepted or not. So that means that we will need here to go to the step 2, which say receive the redirect from Instagram. And here they have explained that if they return in the get method error, any of those three, that means that basically the user didn't accept and allow our application to get the data. So for that reason we will want first to make sure that this doesn't exist. So on the callback I will say if set get error, I will just redirect person, say location, login, PHP, then exit. Okay, and now we can continue with coding the page. Okay, callback page. So now down below we can see that they say that if we want to request the access token and basically get the user profile data, we will need to execute a curl request, curl post request to this URL, and then in that post request we will need to include client ID, secret, grant type, redirect URI, and also the code that they will return in header. So if I say here login with Instagram and then I say authorize, you can see that in the URL they have specified the code. So basically we'll need to get this code and then send to Instagram to get a access token. So in our Instagram API, let me just create a new method. So I'll say public function and maybe let's say get access token and user details. Okay, and then let's say that the parameter we will need is code. Okay, so in the callback here I will just say require Instagram API, and then we'll say data equal Instagram get access token user details, and then I will specify the code from our URL. Okay, cool. So here now we will need to define what we will send in our curl request. So here we go, this is what we need. So I will just go and say post files equal array, this associative array. So we will need client ID, so this is our client ID, then client secret, which is our client secret, then we will need grant type, which is authorization code. So I will just grant type, and that is authorization code. Then the next thing is redirect URI. Okay, redirect, we have it also, so I will say redirect. Okay, and then the last thing is code, which is our code. Okay, So now we need to write curl. So I'll say curl handler equal curl init. Okay, and now I'll say curl set opt our curl handle, and then option that I want to use first is URL. Okay, I'll write it later. So maybe let me just duplicate this. We will need return transfer. I will set it to 1. Then we will need cell verify host. I will say no. Then verify peer, say to the no, and then we will need we will need post. Okay, I'll say 1, and then we will need post fields, and those are our post fields that we have written right here. So URL, return transfer, verify host, verify peer, post fields. I think that is all that we need so far. So maybe now I will just say response equal curl execute our curl handler, and then I will just close our curl. Okay, and now for us, in order to get this data from the response, okay, so first let me just copy this here. Okay, this is the URL that we need, and now for us to get this data, basically we'll need to decode it. As you can see, this is how we will get it. So I will just say here return JSON decode this response, and then I will say true, which means that I want to get an associative array. Okay, save, and that's it. So let's make a test and see, did we make it? Okay, so we'll go back. So I say login with Instagram. So we don't see any error here, so which probably means that everything is okay. So I'll go to the callback, and then let's say I will just print out everything from this data just to see what we have got. Okay, so login with Instagram. And now here we go. As you can see now from the Instagram, we have got an access token, and then we have also got a user, which is another array, and in this array we have user ID, username, profile picture, full name, bio, website, etc. So let's now get those informations. So access token is data, access token, no. So I will just maybe now save everything to the session so that we can use it on our index PHP. So at the top I will just say session start, and then here let's maybe say session access token. So this is just in case that we will need it later. So I'll say again session, and then I'll say ID equal data user, and then ID. So we can check that again. So as you can see, if we go here, it says user and then ID. Okay, so I will just duplicate this and we'll say that this will be our username. Okay, Okay, so that you guys can see it. So let's say we will have profile picture. Okay, here, and then maybe let's get full name. Full name, and then we will have file. So I think this is all, and then we have a website. This is the last thing that we didn't get already. Okay, that's it. So now once we have stored all the informations to our session, let's now just redirect person to our index PHP, and I will use exit here. Okay, so I think this is going to work, but now inside our index PHP we will need to verify this. So maybe I will just add your logged in, and I will set it to the 1. Okay, so now inside our index PHP I will just steal the design from login. I will paste it. Okay, and then here I will say session start. Okay, then I will check if the session exists. So I'll say if isset session logged in. I mean, if not isset, we will redirect to the login PHP. Exit. Okay, and now here I will delete those things, and then maybe let's just create 2 columns. Like this one will be 3, and then another one I will have will be 9, and in the first one I will just include the picture, and I will get it from our session. So I will say echo session profile picture, and then inside here, or let's first test all of this just to make sure that everything is good so far. So first let me try to access login index PHP, and we are not able. It has redirected us back to the login PHP, which is good. Now let's say login with Instagram. So we have been redirected now to the index PHP, and this is a picture from my Instagram profile. So now let's just display some other informations. So let's say ID. Okay, and then I will say here name, and then website, and then I'm not sure what else do we have. Bio. So I mean, you can do whatever you would love to with those informations. It's all on you. Say here echo session. Okay, and then I will just say here ID, full name, website, and that's it. I'll just upload index PHP. And here we go. I have my ID, name, website, biography, etc. So guys, basically now what are you going to do with this data? Actually not that much important. I have decide to just display it here on the page, but you can go here to the callback, and here instead of storing to the session you can also insert to the database and do whatever you would love to. So that's it guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do, please like it and share it to your friends, and also if you have any questions, please ask in the comments below. Take care.